right, so I call to order this Board of Assessment Review meeting for Thursday, January 30th. And if we could start with a call to order.
Ms. Torrance?
Here.
Mr. Sanctus?
Present.
Mr. Herrick?
Here.
Mr. Parkinson?
Here.
All right, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Great. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and these minutes, I think we can approve these, right? Because it was the three of us here, we have a quorum, so we're
Yes.
good. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we approve as written.
Okay?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? No? All right, all in favor? Carries 3-0. And now we are on to the meat of this here. So the way this typically works is, this is for us to discuss the finding of facts, not for either side, if they were present, to discuss in any way. This is just for us to discuss how these are written, if we need to change anything, discuss them, and then we'll vote on them from there. Did I miss anything?
No, you
important?
didn't. Just to review the process again, the rules that you abide by allow you to outsource to me the task of writing draft findings and draft conclusions. I listened closely to what you had said at the meeting on January 9th and made notes. That was not a decision, though. Your decision would come tonight after you go through all of the findings of fact and then make your decision. So you have a draft in front of you. The one I sent this out a few days ago to you folks, and I did get some feedback. Pretty much non-substantive, but good editorial comments from Melinda, just on some formatting things. And that's what you're looking at right now, and I've incorporated that. There wasn't any dialogue or between you folks, as is not proper, of course. So I'd encourage you to, use your own independent judgment on any of the wording in this, supplement it, take it out, tear it apart any way you want. One of the things we've done in the past is authorize the chairman to sign, and that would be Chris as acting chairman, or chairman pro tempora.
Is that what you are?
Not like, sounds like Japanese.
Sounds like
order of
zucchini.
So what we've done is talked about the introduction and procedural history. Maybe you could take it in sections and then get into the findings of fact, maybe take a couple at a time. I mean, you could vote them on individually or sort of clump them a little bit. Yeah. This case has two components, as you know, the overvaluation component and then the unjust discrimination component. And I borrowed heavily from the sort of legal conclusions you made from the prior case
On the discrimination.
on unjust discrimination. Maine.
So as we're reading this, we don't need to read the whole introduction and procedural history?
You don't have to read it.
do
Just
the
read it to
finding
your.
facts.
Well, just read it and make sure you don't see anything that seems odd or out of place. Or I did. Obviously, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I borrow a lot from the applicants or the appellant's own submission in terms of names and dates and things like that. I don't think that there was much of a controversy on the facts, except for maybe when the construction started. There was a little bit about that, but I think I've covered that by saying it started. I didn't say when it finished.
Along those lines, at the end of the meeting, wasn't there something about, or was that the thing that was it?
There was a little discussion on the hallway about that.
Yeah.
About when the buildings actually started construction. So
So the way this is written is
I think so.
putting that in, so there's not a.
I think I'd borrowed from what the applicant had said.
Okay.
Initial construction began in 2001. It's on number 2 on page 3. more units and improvements being added over the years.
Okay. All right, so does everybody, obviously you've read this well enough, and I have too, but so we good to move past and go to the finding of facts and
Yes,
go through
I am.
those?
I
Feels
think so.
comfortable with that? Do we need to? Do we need to have a motion for to accept the pre-findings of facts?
Okay, yes,
Is that,
yeah, just say
All
that,
right, I'll make a motion that we accept as written the introduction and procedural history.
I'll second.
all right, all in favor? Okay,
Okay.
3-0, that carries. Good call, Tracy. All right, so.
I'd like to make a motion that findings of facts number 1 and 2 be accepted as written,
I'll
which are
second.
just background.
Yep, just background, all right, all in favor? All right.
and you'll see that the following findings of fact reflect that how Assessor Nick Cloutier reviewed the file and the work of prior Assessor David Bouffard. It's kind of written up that way. And in essence, found it to be correct, his work to be satisfactory and correct.
All right, I think 3 and 4 go together pretty well here. I think we could probably do those two together.
I would actually say motion to approve 3, 4, and 5 as written.
Okay, we can go with that.
I would second that.
Any discussion on that at all? All right, all in favor? All right, moving on to 6.
So 6 is a laundry list of the things that Mr. Bouffard did in response to the abatement application, and he, as a result of some of those steps, as it goes down to paragraph 8, reduces the assessed value of $296,900.
Okay.
Okay, so
All
I'd
right,
say
so,
motion to approve 6, 7, and 8 as written.
I'll second that.
5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you went to 5.
We already
Yeah,
did 5.
5, all right, I gotta catch up then if we're gonna go to 8. Bear with me one moment.
Keep me on my toes.
Yep, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Did you say all in favor yet?
I haven't. I wanna make
Okay.
sure I read it.
Wants to make sure he's in favor.
first.
Okay.
Sure, there's no reason for discussion here. All right, so any discussion on 6, 7, and 8?
No.
No? All in favor? All right, 3-0. Move on to
I would
9.
make a motion that 9 be done independently of other items.
I would agree.
Okay, all right. So why don't I read this one then while it's separate?
Okay.
Typically, we do read them. I've kind of skipped
Yeah.
that part. So
Oh,
where we're
okay.
doing this one alone, we'll get into it a little bit. I'll read this one.
Okay.
Number 9, findings of fact is regarding assessment methodology, I have to say that 5 times.
Mhm.
Mr. Bouffard and Mr. Cloutier each separately analyzed a property based upon the cost, sales comparison, and income approaches. Both determined that the cost approach was most relevant. The sales comparison approach was not reasonable because there are no comparable sales for the property. All right, so I have a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second.
And any discussion on this?
No?
All right, all in favor? All right, and obviously these last 3, let's definitely do those independently, and I'll read those out. We're definitely getting into the meat here. Finding of facts number 10. Regarding the discrimination claim, the factual basis and legal arguments made by the taxpayer in regarding discrimination in these prior appeals were the same as, or similar to those made in another discrimination case, case number 19-006, 19-007, involving Oak Hill Holdings LLC and several other entities.
I think the wording's a little messed up there. I think it should be regarding the discrimination claim, the factual basis and legal arguments made by the taxpayers.
Oh,
I think just
Regarding
remove in.
discrimination
Remove in.
in these prior appeals were the same or similar to those made in another discrimination case involving, and I put the numbers involving Oak Hill Holdings. So I would take out the word in, and then in these prior appeals, it's sort of a bit of a word salad right now.
So where you added an S for taxpayers, and then in regarding discrimination,
Yeah, it should, the new wording, regarding the discrimination, yeah, it shouldn't have,
you have regarding discrimination a
Twice.
couple of times.
yeah, that's not good.
All right.
We do get paid by the word, but that's the way to go. Regarding the discrimination claim, the factual basis and legal arguments made by the taxpayer were the same or similar to those made in another discrimination case number
Yes.
involving
Yeah.
Oak Hill Holdings. And like if you read that fast, you'd say like, oh,
Sure.
I get it, but if you, it's got about 5 extra words in
No, I
there.
think that's
Yeah.
better the way it is.
So we're going to remove in regarding discrimination in these prior appeals.
Right.
And then taxpayer is plural.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I have a
Well,
motion on?
is taxpayer plural?
It's
I don't believe
singular
so.
in this deal.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Yeah, I believe it stays
was
singular.
plural.
One entity.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
fair enough.
yep, all right.
Can I have a motion to approve as,
It's a motion to approve with changes.
okay?
I'll
You'll
second.
All right, any discussion? More discussion? All in favor? 3-0. All right, on to number 11. In 2017, the town decided to conduct a townwide reevaluation in 2 phases. Commercial and industrial properties would be reevaluated in 2017/2018, and residential properties would be reevaluated in 2018/2019.
Needs a period there.
Correct, yeah. Commercial and industrial properties were reevaluated first because of greater disparity from just value than residential properties.
So I would say that re-evaluated should be revaluated.
Oh, yeah, you got me on that.
Reevaluated.
Reevaluate it, yes, correct.
And then the period.
So the period and the
Mm-hmm.
crossing of the redundant E.
Gotcha.
All right, would anybody like to
Motion to approve as corrected.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
I gotta get that on a spell check on 12 too, reevaluate.
And number 12, the town reasonably determined that commercial and industrial properties should be reevaluated first because the data suggested that they were more severely undervalued. Reversing the order of the phases of the revaluation would have increased the inequity between the classes.
So yes,
So
just
other
the
than the
correct.
extra E in the first reevaluate,
Right,
don't see anything else.
agreed.
I'll make a motion, we accept that with that one correction.
Okay.
Second.
And any discussion? All in favor? Do we feel that, before we move on to the conclusions, that there are anything we want to add to that? Any more findings that we want to add? We feel we covered them all. We certainly don't have to, but,
That's a good question.
you know, if anybody
Is,
had something in their mind or whatnot in their notes that they really wanted added to this, now would certainly be the
No.
time.
no, the only thing that I questioned at all was whether we needed to have anything in there about how the taxpayer was not present to actually even provide any other criteria.
I thought I had.
But I don't know that we do. I think that was in the introduction, right?
Yeah.
Sufficiently there.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think it was.
Yeah, it was in the second to last paragraph of the introduction.
So if that's probably
So it's-
sufficient
it's-
Oh,
enough,
the
right?
taxpayer did not
Yeah.
appear, yeah.
Yeah.
So the board also considered letters from Sally Daggett, legal counsel for the
Right.
assessor and the taxpayer, for the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Letters from Joe Moser and Sally Daggett, legal counsel for the assessor and taxpayer respectively, so yeah.
So we're covered. Okay.
Taxpayer did not appear at the hearing.
Okay.
I mean, you definitely did read the letter.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. All right, so do I need to Should I be reading all these conclusions
So do we
out
need a-
loud, or are we
I don't
just-
think you need to. As you know, from your board rules, I borrow heavily from them in both the valuation claim and the discrimination claim. And then I plug in that they basically haven't met their burden on both.
All right, so, the decision. Accordingly, the board voted unanimously to deny the taxpayer's appeal and affirm the valuation of the property.
Well, maybe,
We need to vote
maybe adopt
first,
all
right?
those conclusions, though, then get to the decision.
Oh, okay, all right.
And you'll see that the last part of the decision has to do with the unjust discrimination and borrows some of the language that you used before. I streamlined it a lot, though.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion that we approve the conclusions as written.
Second?
Second. Any discussion on anything in the conclusions? All in favor? 3-0. All right. Should I reread this, or should we just vote?
on the decision,
Yeah.
why don't you reread it?
Yeah.
Okay. Accordingly, the board voted unanimously
Unanimously.
to deny the taxpayer's appeal and affirm the valuation of the property.
I was wondering what would happen if the board voted to grant the appeal after, but usually it follows it based on the logic of what was said
Right.
before, that you would vote against it, but that, of course, is your decision.
Would anybody like to make a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the decision as written.
I'll second
I
that.
like the way you said that, that was well said. Struggling for that. All right, any discussion on that? All in favor? 3-0. Carries to denial.
So what I'll do, what I've done in the past is just make that quick change first thing in the morning and email it to Tracy, and if you don't mind sliding by the town
Yeah.
hall and signing it, then Tracy
We
will.
may not be able to come tomorrow, Tracy, but is that okay if it's like Monday,
So what happened to
early
Alan?
next week?
Is he gone?
Alan is in Florida, I think.
But I mean, is he off the board?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, he's,
I think he typically heads south and then comes back, migrates north.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he'll come back in the spring. I think he just goes for a few months.
Oh, is that all?
I know, I feel
Poor
really
Alan.
bad for him.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're
Yeah,
good
thank
to
you so
adjourn. A motion
Just
to
a
adjourn,
motion
please.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
No, it's
All
voted.
right. All right, we are adjourned.
Now, what do we have coming up?